Hi guys! Today we are going to discuss Core XR Pro, the first kite in Core kite range with airframe made of Alula lightweight composite material. Here I'm going to explain carefully and with some examples all the features of this kite, so you could decide if you need it or not. So, the main feature of XR Pro is its lightweight, thin and hard airframe made of material which the inventor, Alula Composites company, calls Alula Gold. It has that specific golden color which stays exactly the same with all the kite producing companies who use it in the production process. It is more than 2 times stronger than normal Dacron and approximately 4 times better in strength to weight ratio. This material is very rigid, you can feel it when you're simply wrapping up your kite. Thanks to Alula, it has smaller leading edge diameter, so the kite has less drag. At the same time, airframe is harder and lighter, and it defines all the advantages of this kite. And the most significant of them is the ability to recover very fast after a kite loop. You can see kite loop orientation starting from CIT adjustment knots on the leading edge, which are marked as wide loop, all round and tight loop. When you do a loop, any kite will fall down fast and yank you forwards, but the hardest part for the kite is recovering back to 12 to catch you on landing. At this moment, gravity force and wind drag are those two which prevent the kite from flying back to 12. Lighter airframe fights the first problem, decreased leading edge diameter fights the second. I don't like to speak unfoundedly, so we took two kites, XR Pro and normal XR8, to compare turning speed and looping. XR Pro is not made super fast in terms of turning, you should not be expecting this from it. Sometimes I even hear that XR Pro is slower than a normal XR8, which is also not true, at least I didn't feel that. It turns very similar to a normal XR8. After that, we compared looping speed of both kites. Of course, it's a pretty rough comparison, however, the result reflects my real feelings during a kite loop jump pretty clearly. Our kites showed approximately equal speed while looping, however, XR Pro is faster during the last part of a kite loop and completely recovers to 12, 0.8 seconds faster than a normal XR8 in our example. So, first of all, I would recommend XR Pro to those who are progressing in mastering high-powered kite loops. This kite will help them to avoid dangerous situations, providing earlier catch and landing, will help to increase kite loop radius, and to enjoy this dangerous but still exciting exercise. Same applies to high sand jumps. Less drag gives this kite the ability to stay closer to the edge of the window on takeoff, so if compared to a normal Dacron kite, it will give you more vertical than a horizontal yank, allowing you to fly higher. This effect also works for heli loops. XR Pro will arrive to heli loop's starting position earlier, therefore allowing you to initiate landing sequence earlier than a normal XR8. In turn, this will help you to gain more control of your landing. It is very easy to notice that XR Pro jumps towards the edge of the wind window super easily when you push with your board, but you have to understand that your kite will help you, but won't do the whole job for you. To use this advantage, you must have enough skills to resist the pull with your board and create high lines tension. To have better understanding about skills we are talking about in this episode, and to know how to use kites like XR Pro, check out my Learning to Fly series explaining everything about it. I'd like to emphasize one more time that the skill of creating high lines tension is much more important than your kite turning speed. Besides, I am absolutely sure that a big air kite in fact does not need high turning speed. While rotating, especially when one of your hands is occupied by holding or grabbing your board, you don't need your kite to be too sensitive to your steering input. My personal nightmare is to exit the rotation and immediately see my kite being not over my head, but almost hitting the water, and spend rest of my time in the air estimating my chances to walk away after the landing. Sometimes I hear that opinion that XR Pro is hard to control and that it is made for pro riders only. I didn't notice anything like that, however I really tried to. This kite is easily controlled. I know what I'm talking about. I owned some sport kites and they were really hard and unfriendly. XR Pro is only hard in terms of its airframe, but it's more likely makes your life easier rather than hard. A lot of guys notice that XR Pro is very stable in flight, not flapping its wingtips at all, which happens thanks to harder airframe. Wingtip flapping can sometimes result in a situation when after catching a gust, your kite will collapse, reopen again, and immediately catch the next gust and will yank you harder, entering some kind of resonance with wind gusts. Hard airframe is not able to wiggle like that. It is more stable and predictable, which is good for both pro riders and amateurs. The bar pressure is also the same like normal XR8, not more nor less. In my personal opinion, the bar is a bit more informative than a normal version, again thanks to a harder airframe. Will XR Pro give any advantages to a complete beginner? Of course, most of its features will be unavailable to unexperienced rider since they require some skills. I can only mention easier relaunch, again thanks to Alula material. Because of harder airframe, your kite is not collapsing too much after hitting the water and also peels off from the water faster. Takes off easier without losing shape. In low wind conditions, lightweight airframe also makes ascending easier. XR Pro will also help you to go upwind. It is worth mentioning that Alula doesn't soak water like this normal Dacron material, which you can see from a small experiment conducted by us. Normal Dacron acts more like a fabric, soaking water as it gets wet, and when I shake it, almost no water drops fly off. The water soaks into it, increasing weight of the leading edge. Easy to notice that Alula repels water. It is forming those drops on the surface, flying away as I shake it. Alula acts more like some kind of plastic rather than fabric, not sucking water and therefore not getting heavier. So, after crashing into the water, your kite is not getting much heavier, restarts faster, and not changing its behavior after relaunch. Because a normal kite, after touching the water, gets noticeably heavier, besides often heavier only on one side, so it turns slower and unevenly till it gets completely dry again. Alula kite is free from that issue. It turns and loops just like a dry one. So, what conclusions can we make? Who is this kite made for? Does it suit a beginner? Yes, it does. Steering and all the controls are not harder than a normal XR8. Besides, you get extra style points, black and golden design rocks. Honestly, from my point of view, the best design that Core has ever created. Some easier relaunch if compared to a normal XR. That's it for noticeable advantages. Full potential of this kite can be opened only by experienced rider who knows how to create line tension, uses proper riding stance, and knows how to loop the kite. This rider will notice from his first jump that XR Pro recovers much faster after a kite loop. I often landed those loops with some serious lack of height and was very surprised when XR Pro was able to catch me. Also, the experienced rider will feel more vertical lift on a sand jump, more height. You can feel it very clearly if you're switching from XR8 to Pro. After relaunching, this kite will stay light and balanced, not requiring time to dry. You should not expect it to be a super fast double kite loop thing like all those 3 struts Alula models. No, first of all, it is an ultra high performance bigger kite for highest jumps. Just check the Woo leaderboard. It doesn't loop like crazy, but it lifts high, catches super fast after a kite loop, it's powerful and reliable. I would like to thank my brother Mike for sharing an XR8 8-meter size with me for filming. You should definitely check his website and his super nice shop in Cape Town. It used to help me and my friends out quite a few times there. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.